Well, my name is Emily Gonzalez. I've been a resident of Santa Ana pretty much all my life. I came here when I was 4 years old. When I was 17, I started working as a receptionist for a real estate / notary / tax preparer. While I was helping him, he would prepare the forms and I would type for him. I started liking that type of work, talking to his clients, greeting them and all that. When I was 20 years old, I opened up my tax office.
I was raised in Santa Ana. My sister and I were born in Mexico. So we were brought at the age of, I was 5, my sister was 2. So back in 1999. And my mom worked 3 jobs to support us. The reason why we started the business, my mom had lost her job. She's always loved creating things, and I think flowers have always been her passion. I've been in business for about 3.5 years. We began selling flowers from our home, and then eventually we found a small location on the corner of Main and Russell. Over time, I feel like our community came together and really supported us, showed up for us. We always want to give back, and I feel like that kind of reflects on our following.
Eloisa G. Morales, soy de Guatemala. Me vine con coyote desde Guatemala, pero yo le pagué al coyote hasta Mexicali y de ahí me quedé sin un centavo porque me robaron mi dinero. Entonces ya me quedé ahí y según los coyotes de aquí de Mexicali me iban a tener de sirvienta para que hiciera comerle a la gente. Ah, no, dije, babosazón, yo no vine a eso. Ya me platiqué con una vecinita así del otro lado y le digo, fíjese doña, le digo que si esto me pasa. Ay, mi hija dice, véngase para acá. Y ya me pasé al lado de ella. Esto lo acabo de empezar. Ahora que estaba la pandemia, vendía mascarillas. Pero como las mascarillas ya no se vendían, entonces me dijo una compañera, ¿y por qué no vende florecitas? Me dice. Sí, ¿verdad? Le digo, sí, me dice. Y yo aquí le ayudo, me dice. Bueno. Y ella me da los arreglos. El único problema es que me da solo 20 en todo lo que vendo.
Sin dinero, sin nada. Yo duré 7 meses para cruzar todo México. Llegué a Santana y un amigo prácticamente me pasó para este lado. Me agarró migración, estuve encerrado como por unos 7 días, pero yo aquí no tenía familiares, no tenía dinero, no tenía dónde llegar, no tenía nada. Pero prácticamente pues esto fue parte de Dios que yo llegara. Yo comencé en marzo del 2012 hasta la fecha de hoy, 2021, sigo siendo lo mismo. Por eso trabajo todos los días. Lo que fue la pandemia yo no he parado de trabajar.
I have lived here at this residence for 48 years tomorrow. I was born and raised here, and I went to school in this area. I had friendships in this area. All my family lived here as well. My parents were the original residents here. They purchased this home about 64 years ago. And when they first came in, I believe they were one of maybe the first or second family that was a Hispanic family to this area. They came from Orange, and they've been here ever since, and that's how I became a resident here as well.
When I was displaced out of Grovemont Square, because I couldn't afford the rent, I wanted to go back there, but then the gentrification process began and the rents were even higher there. So that's one big change I've seen, that 4th Street is not the same, it's not what it used to be.
And as far as like the construction, I feel like the recent changes were just so sudden. I feel like we only got like 4 day notice, and then they began doing their construction, and I feel like it lasted a month or so. So that was kind of hard to, to deal with like parking, and because I do have some of my employees, like my staff members, I have like 3 of them. So we have to park in the back, and then we had to like offer free delivery for some of our customers because there was like no parking. So my family used to own a spot there, and eventually it turned into the market, and then so we got kicked out of there. My aunt was actually the owner from there. She got moved to a location on 4th Street. And same thing with us. I feel like we're not safe of being moved. Whatever happened on 4th Street, like you go there and like you don't recognize the old La Cuatro anymore. And now, that we're here, like yeah, we're not close to 4th Street, but I still don't know. We're like, what if they decide to tear down these businesses and create a bigger road or create something else like a building or something? It's scary because they don't really communicate with us.
Now my business has totally been impacted. Like today it looked fairly finished, but even just yesterday the road was blocked off. The last 2 weeks we were not able to come inside the office. We didn't get notice from the city. They came by maybe a couple months ago and they left a little flyer just with their number. If any questions, call them. The first time we found out about this project was, say, maybe January or February, but it was already planned out. A couple weeks ago when a gentleman came in and he gave me a card and said, anything you need, call, which I tried calling because he said we would be supplied with banners that said open during construction. I'm glad I didn't get it because we were forced to close during construction.
I was contacted. I received a letter in the mail telling all of us residents, that there was going to be some type of excavation being done in the near future because our groundwater and our soil had been contaminated over many, many years from all these manufacturing companies that are directly across the street or in our area. Well, my mom lived here for 64 years. She recently passed away. Unfortunately, was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. My mom doesn't have cancer in her family. In the letter, it did mention that we had to respond to the letter if we had any questions sometime in May. But that date came and went, and I know based on my questioning of some of my neighbors, they didn't understand that they had to do that or that they had to even respond to it in order to get our questions answered. So unfortunately that day came. I did respond to it. I just don't know if it got to them in time.
We probably lost about 40% of the business during COVID. There were no cars on the street. Everything was closed down. We were forced to shut down for a couple of months.
We thought we had to close down. We thought we had to get rid of all of our flowers one time. I posted on our Instagram. Thankfully our community came together and they bought almost everything from our fridge, which was really good. And then about 3 days later, we found out that we didn't have to close because we're part of agriculture.
Bendito sea mi Dios. A mí no me ha tocado nada, ni me ha afectado. Porque si no tengo dinero me voy a pedir comida donde regalan y ya. ¿Ves?
Sí, la verdad han sido bien difíciles los momentos porque yo no he parado desde que comenzó en la pandemia, en el mes de marzo. Todo el año nosotros no hemos parado de vender, prácticamente que sea por algo teníamos que llevar a la casa. Y gracias a Dios la paletería no cerró, siempre se mantuvo abierta y nosotros teníamos la oportunidad de salir, aunque los niños, no había mucha gente en las calles, los niños casi ni salían, totalmente, bueno, los negocios cerrados, sí se vendía, pero poco, pero sí salimos adelante.
Erica and I are trying to get together with all the businesses. We're starting the Main Street Business Association to try to help them in any way we can. We're going to be offering aid, paperwork, whatever information we can give them, because I feel that most of these, I would say at least maybe even 80-90%, they're Hispanic. A lot of them have to figure out how to or where to get information.
I didn't know about the project until I did see it down Main. I never thought, they're gonna come all the way over here. I didn't know how far an extent was. They did tell us it was gonna be about a month, but there was no communication of what time of the day they were gonna be working. Tried to ask why they were doing what they were doing, and then they were just kind of we work for the city, we're putting this here in front of your shop.
Difícil porque la verdad yo he hablado con algunos compañeros del mismo compañero, del mismo trabajo de vender paletas en la calle, yo les he dicho que a veces nos hagamos alguna reunión, que pidamos una ayuda, que hagamos algo para nosotros. Porque es cierto, en la paletería hay quienes reciben del gobierno porque tienen papeles, son ciudadanos y andan trabajando, pero los que no tenemos nada, prácticamente no hay ayuda. Prácticamente yo creo que ni existimos para el gobierno, pero ya le digo, no hay ninguna comunicación con ellos porque ellos no entienden, no creen de que puede haber alguna ayuda, ellos no lo ven así, pero yo sí lo he planteado, pero le digo, ellos no lo creen que sea posible. Prácticamente sería bueno por lo menos tener uno la libertad o un permiso o algo que lo apoye, que lo acredite a uno, que prácticamente que su negocio no va a ser por lo menos no lo vayan a detener la policía o no le van a causar problemas porque uno es ilegal. Aunque los carritos están legalmente por el dueño, ellos pagan todo lo pagan ellos, no hay ningún problema.
I'm willing to speak up. I feel like I'm willing to put the word out there. Whether my voice is heard or not, I'm not 100% confident in that just yet. I feel like I've had a voice in many other situations over the years and have not been heard. So for me, right now, I want to be heard. I feel like it's important to be heard. I feel like it's important for every single one of my neighbors to be heard. I just pray and I hope that they will give us the time, they'll give us the respect, and they'll give us the energy that they can focus into looking into their community, looking into their residents, and actually hear us and not just give us, the pat on the back, we understand you, and move on. I don't want that. So I hope those of us that can get together and can try to help each other make a change, because we're not going anywhere. We live here. We have to deal with each other every single day, and we have to deal with these problems every single day. So I hope they'll hear us. I hope they will.